It's hard to argue the success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. With the recent release of its latest feature film, Doctor Strange, the series has now grossed over $4 billion worldwide in its 14 films, making it the highest grossing film franchise of all time. However, what's also hard to dispute is that while Marvel's films are experiencing enormous success, the same cannot really be said for the traditional method of storytelling, comic books. Marvel's flagship comic event of 2016, Civil War II, began in June of this year, with the first issue reaching sales of just over 391,000, while by issue 6, the series had fell to only 118,000 copies. And this highlights a real problem for the comic book industry at the moment. In some ways, it's a real quagmire. The likes of Captain America, Iron Man and SpiderMan are more ingrained in the public consciousness than ever before. Yet the comic book industry continues to struggle since its decline after the burst of the speculator bubble in the mid to late 1990s. But how can Marvel fix this? One method I've noticed that Marvel Comics has took over the last few years is to amend their comic books to be more in line with their cinematic counterparts, putting a heavier focus on characters with successful film franchises such as the Avengers or the Guardians of the Galaxy, often at the expense of characters either not depicted on screen or ones that Marvel Studios are unable to use, such as the Fantastic Four and the XMen. However, this isn't necessarily a recent phenomena. Over the last 15 years, a slow burn has been in place to make comic books tie in more to what we see from Marvel on screen. And where this all starts, really, is Blade. Released in 1988, the half-human, half-vampire action film with Wesley Snipes was a surprise hit, making over $130 million worldwide, and could be seen as the first step towards the modern superhero genre. However, it's key to note that the movie took serious liberties with the Blade character, created by Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan, who was originally not a daywalker at all, but a human being immune to being turned into a vampire, and without the increased speed and strength of his vampire foes, Blade instead relied on his skill set and his weapons. But after the success of the film, Blade's status quo began to change. In Peter Parker Spider-Man number 8 of 1999, Blade was bitten by Morbius the living vampire, and as a result, became a daywalker, and was further tweaked to be more in tune with his on-screen counterpart. This carried over into the new millennium with the success of Bryan Singer's XMen in 2000. While unlike Blade, the X-Men have been a Marvel Comics staple for the last few decades, with huge popularity throughout the 1990s. The movie version had several contrasts to the beloved comics, most notably by ditching the classic yellow costumes in favour of a black leather uniform. Beginning in 2001, Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely took over the X-Men title and began to move to a more mature, darker storytelling than previously seen before. In New X-Men issue 114, the group debuted a new look, and while they did keep the yellow X on the front of their costumes, their look became far less colourful and individual, and more uniform, of course, introducing black leather.
What would you prefer? Yellow spandex?
And following the success of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2 films, Marvel Comics again adapted their comic books to better reflect the films. In the 2004 story arc Spectacular Spider-Man Disassembled, the wall crawler underwent a physical transformation which granted the hero organic webbing. Now, this was an unsurprisingly divisive move, as the mechanical web shooters had not only been a part of Peter's character since Amazing Fantasy 15, but was also a key component of Peter Parker's character, showing his intellect and his genius was just as much a superpower as those gifted to him by the radioactive spider. And now we look at the present day, where characters such as Agent Coulson have been introduced into Marvel Comics, while others such as the Fantastic Four are no longer being published. The X-Men have undergone a rough decade following the House of M storyline and the aftermath of No More Mutants, continuing to now with the recent Death of X and the X-Men Inhuman Wars. And the Guardians of the Galaxy, a team who have been on the Badlands of Marvel's Eden, are now a major part of the universe. However, whether these changes are a good thing or not is a different question. It could be argued that Marvel have seen the success of their franchises and seek to adapt it into graphic novels, the same way the graphic novels are adapted into the franchises. In this way, the divisions between comic books and films becomes blurred, and the clear comic to movie formula becomes circular. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like down below, and also leave a comment and let us know what you thought and what else you'd like to see me talk about in a future video essay. We've just also updated some of the branding on the channel. We have new logos, new channel artwork and such. Go check that out, see what you think. We've also set up an Instagram account at /OwenLaxComics, and also you can find us on Twitter there as well. There are some videos on the screen now if you want to go check them out, some of our other video essays and other fun things that if you enjoyed this, then maybe I think you'd like. And until next time, take care and keep reading.